Good morning. We are live for an episode of Coffee with Craner, and today I have a special guest, Minister Monte McNaughton. He's from Lambton, Kent, Middlesex. That's his riding, but he's really no stranger to Windsor-Essex. And in the past 2 years, he's been here for multiple occasions. One where he announced job protections for Canadian military reservists leaving their day jobs for deployment, and another announcing major changes to the second career program that helped laid off workers, unemployed workers, establish new careers and become trained in the workforce, providing really up to $500 a week for living expenses to those in those programs, and many other resources available. But Minister McNaughton's no stranger. And if you're watching, he's the Minister of Labor, Training and Skills Development, was also the Minister of Infrastructure, got his start in politics in 2011. Minister McNaughton, thanks for being here today.
Well, Lyndon, great to be with you and all the folks from the Windsor-Essex region. It's second home for me. Of course, I come from southwestern Ontario, but you're right. We've spent a lot of time, I know, with the mayor, Drew Dilkins, our candidates down there, and our Labour partners as well.
Well, we're happy to have you back virtually. And Minister McNaughton, I start every single episode with a question relating to coffee. It fits the theme. Where in Lambton, Kent, Middlesex is your favorite place to grab a nice cup of joe?
Well, I love coffee. So one of the reasons why we wanted to do this today, I'm a big coffee drinker. I've got two favorite places, actually. The Little Beaver, a restaurant which has been around for many years. My daughter and I go there almost every Saturday morning for coffee, sometime with my parents. Also, Roy's Coffee Shop in Strathroy, both serve a great cup of coffee.
Awesome. Sounds delicious. And if I'm in the area, I'll have to check it out for sure. But to get started here, what really inspired you to get involved in politics? I know you ran in 2007, elected in 2011 as an MPP. How did that all start for you?
Well, for me, it started much earlier than that, actually. I remember being in elementary school and reading about my grandfather, Jack McNaughton. He passed away a number of years before I was born, but he was a local entrepreneur, started a hardware store, an auto and farm supply store, the local bus lines. But most importantly, he was the reeve of our small town, Newbury, for many years. And he really inspired me to get into politics. He spent literally the last 2 decades of his life getting a local hospital built in Newbury. And 55 years later, that hospital's still going, 4 counties health services. But it was reading about my grandfather, his dedication to the local community, doing things that, really help families for generations to come. So that's an easy one for me. My grandfather inspired me.
Wow. No, definitely inspiring and having that role model growing up. And you mentioned hospital, so I'll be remiss not to mention it. But Windsor-Essex has some really significant investments coming up in the future. A new hospital, $5 billion electric vehicle battery plant that your government and the federal government announced. There's a new bridge coming. A lot of exciting announcements. But I want to talk to you about the EV battery manufacturing plant for Windsor-Essex. As your role as Minister of Labor, Training and Skills Development, what does this mean to Windsor-Essex labor force?
Well, I'm really excited about this. A $5 billion investment, the largest in automotive history here in Ontario. Premier Ford has been working closely with the federal government, but also with LG and Stellantis to land this electric vehicle battery plant down there. And this is going to mean great paying jobs. I mean, jobs with pensions and benefits for more than 2,500 workers. This is why we need to continue to encourage young people and others to pick up careers in the skilled trades, because if we want to build back a stronger, better Ontario for workers and for businesses, we need to ensure that we have skilled workers to ensure that we're filling these jobs that are going unfilled today. So this is a great news for the region, great news for the province of Ontario, and I know there's going to be more to come.
Definitely. And speaking of jobs and skilled trades, aside from the jobs that will be created with the battery manufacturing plant, I had a question that came in a bit before we had the interview, and somebody was wondering, what would you say would be, if you could maybe give off 10 or 5, what would be the top 5 or 10 skilled trades roles that you would encourage people to go into in Ontario?
Well, great question. I mean, we're really on a mission to get more people into the skilled trades. These are meaningful careers, lifelong careers. In many cases, they pay 6 figures with a defined pension and benefit. This is how we can build strong families and stronger communities in Ontario. There's more than 140 different skilled trades to choose from. I think of those skilled trades workers working in advanced manufacturing, like those jobs that are coming to the Windsor-Essex region with that new EV plant. I think of the construction trade jobs. I mean, we're going to be short 100,000 workers in construction over the next 10 years alone because, we're really putting out an aggressive plan to build more infrastructure, roads and bridges, and a broadband, high-speed internet, a more natural gas expansion. All of these projects, if we want to get them done on time and on budget, we need the workers to pick up careers in the trades to do these projects. So these are great careers. There's 140 to choose from. And really my message is not every young person has to go to university to be successful. A career in the skilled trades offer a lifetime of opportunities. You can start your own business. You can travel Canada, and you can be damn proud of what you build.
No, definitely. And I see you have some construction hats behind you. When you're out talking to those in the skilled trades, what do they tell you about their roles and working in Ontario?
They're proud. They're so proud of what they do. I often talk about my good friend who is an insulator, a part of the insulators union. He's working in Sarnia, building the Nova chemical plant, which is a $2 billion project. There's all kinds of businesses coming back to Ontario, expanding here because of the policies of Premier Ford and our government. But for the first time in his career, he's going to make $200,000.
Wow.
He has the defined pension and benefit. There's thousands of opportunities out there. And it's important that we let parents know, guidance counselors and educators and young people, that these are great careers and there's just thousands of opportunities out there, and you can be really proud of the work that you do.
Definitely. And how do you see Ontario's skilled trades industry really changing in the next 5 to 10 years? There's massive investments. Yesterday, they announced new transmission lines, 5 new ones, or a few days ago in the Windsor-Essex region. There's so many major projects happening in Ontario. How do you see skilled trades changing in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, there's a number of challenges we have in Ontario. I mean, there's a lot of business coming here, a lot of businesses that are here that are growing. Back in March of 2020, 200,000 jobs were going unfilled. Today, it's about 340,000 jobs going unfilled. I mean, tens of thousands of jobs in southwestern Ontario alone. 1 in 5 jobs in Ontario by the year 2025 will be in the skilled trades. And the challenge we have is that 1 in 3 journey persons today is over the age of 55. So we have all of these people that are retiring. That's why it's important that we continue to promote the skilled trades. 2 major initiatives that our government is doing. We're introducing the skilled trades in grade 1. It's going to be part of the education curriculum, and Minister Lecce has announced that in the last few weeks. But secondly, back in September, I sent dozens of recruiters into every single high school in the province, really to compete head on with university recruiters, just to talk about the pathways into the trades, ensuring that people know that there's 140 different trades to choose from, and really how you get there.
Wow. And one thing that caught me off guard is you mentioned a skilled trades program for those in grade 1. What can you tell me about what's that about?
Well, we know that young people actually make a decision in grade 7 and 8 about what career path they want to get into. That's why it's important to get into classrooms at a much younger age to talk about the skilled trades. I know, on a personal note, I've got an 8-year-old daughter. A couple of years ago, with my neighbor who's actually in the skilled trades, we built a tree house. And, she was so proud of the work, and we introduced her to the tools, and she was carrying lumber and, of course, working safely. But it's just important that we really encourage young people and just open up the opportunities to them, because many young people and the parents don't think of the skilled trades as a first career choice, but they should.
Yeah, no, that's it sounds like a great program, and it's great being in grade 1 because students are so imaginative at that age. It allows them to really, test out the waters at a young age, but also just get thrown into something and understand how roads are being built and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think of the automobiles of the future, which is going to be a big part of the Windsor-Essex region. I mean, there's great careers in the skilled trades, running, robotics and the technological advancements. I mean, manufacturing has changed a lot. These are great careers. And of course, it's a big part of our economy, not only in the Windsor-Essex region, but right across the province. And it's great to see these companies coming back and expanding here.
Absolutely. Now, just reflecting back, because there is a provincial election on the horizon that I imagine you're aware of. Um, but reflecting back 4 years as minister, I mean, more years because you're also Minister of Infrastructure. But if you could pick really one milestone or accomplishment by your ministry in the past 4 years that you're really, really proud of, I know it's hard to pick, but what would it be?
Well, I have to say too, Lyndon, the first is that under the leadership of Premier Ford in our government, we've really been able to work with labor, with business, and government. I mean, I'm a big believer that everyone has to work together. I think of the labor shortages in the trades. We need to be working with our union partners, with contractors in industry like Stellantis and LG and all those others, and to have government there as well to provide programs to encourage people to get into the trade. So labor, government, and business working together, I think, is a great accomplishment that we've been able to do. And then secondly, I'm just really proud of the improvements we made to the skilled trades to really send that message that these are great opportunities. I mean, I think often that we're spending $1.5 billion as a government over 4 years to get more people into the trades. That's $1.1 billion more than the former government did. So it really is our mission, and we're making a lot of headway on this.
Definitely. And how important is the relationship with the Ontario government and unions? Because I know that it can be rough waters sometimes. How important is that relationship?
Well, I think back of my first 3 months on the job after Premier Ford asked me to be the Minister of Labor back in June of 2019 after that 1 year at infrastructure. And I spent literally 3 months meeting with more than 100 labor leaders from across Ontario, many from the Windsor-Essex region, whether it was the building trades or Unifor and others. But it's just important that we all work together. We all have challenges around labor shortages, but also I think of the Windsor-Essex Hospital. I mean, the building trades and the thousands of workers down in the Windsor-Essex region are going to be really happy with this project because it's going to mean thousands of hours of work for their members. So there's a real economic benefit to these projects, but also a benefit to improve society. And I think that's what unites labor, government, and business.
And with these major projects happening, do you see other types of, like, yes, it's benefiting Windsor Essex, but how do you see it benefiting, other parts of southwestern Ontario?
Well, exactly. I think that's the exciting thing about these new industries that are coming, especially around electric vehicles. I think of a trip that I just had in Northern Ontario. I was in Timmins, Kirkland Lake, and Kapuskasing, and the mining industry is going to be booming because of these investments in southwestern Ontario. So this is going to provide jobs right across the province, not just in the southwest, where obviously we're going to benefit from those new plants, but across Northern Ontario and even in the GTA, where we have a lot of international headquarters located. So this is going to be game changing for the province of Ontario, good for Canada, but most importantly, it's going to be good for workers and their families.
Absolutely. Now, before I let you go, I have a final question. Just because majority of my audience is youth, and there is an election coming up, and can be a bit nerve-wracking, scary to some individuals voting for the first time. What advice can you share with those youth really looking to take a more active role in this election, but perhaps they have no idea where to start, unsure of which party to choose? It's tough. How would you advise them?
Well, certainly. Look, I've been there before. I started at a young age volunteering for my local PC party candidate in my riding. We've got three amazing candidates running in the Windsor-Essex region. John in Windsor West. We have Andrew Dowie, of course, a councillor in Windsor-Tecumseh, and Anthony Liardi in Essex. Volunteer for a local candidate. I mean, obviously, I would encourage people to help out Premier Ford and our team, but just get involved, knock on doors, install signs. And, now with the progress with social media, it's really it's really easy to be engaged. I think of the people that are following this interview today, but really just pay attention, get involved, and every vote counts. This is going to be a really important election about the future of Ontario, especially for young people. And this campaign is really going to come down to which leader, which party is going to build the future of Ontario.
Absolutely. And I think that's excellent advice. And June 2nd is coming up quick. I appreciate your advice to some youth that are looking to get more involved in campaigns, and all the advice today that you brought to the table, Mr. McNaughton. So happy to have you in the Windsor-Essex region. I wish you all the best in the coming months.
Well, Lyndon, thank you. And thank you for everything you're doing. I think this is incredible, reaching young people and their families. Well done. Thanks for all your work. And to everyone listening, stay safe, enjoy the opportunities that are out there, and get involved in the election coming up.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. McNaughton. Those watching, thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you very soon.